Effective language is on the right. What in the world does that mean? Well, I think that, you know, I'm definitely effective when I talk. Not effective, effective. Okay? My voice goes up and down. All right? I laugh, I move, I change stuff around. Okay? But the only thing I could do was just sort of stand right here and never change the way my voice is, and basically just read to you from the PowerPoint, and you know, by within 5 to 10 minutes, all of y'all in class would probably be asleep. Mine is effective. Alright? Because I definitely put a lot of emotion into my talks.
How is it that people can have a filter and then as they get older it just disappears?
Now,
Like my grandma was like that.
I'm going to answer that question the way that there's only one explanation for it. Okay? When you get to be a certain age, basically the I care has gone out the window. And it's pretty much now, I don't want to say it. It's just, you know what? And because we've also learned, as we get older, don't have time for it. You know? I mean, it's true. It's true. I have watched this in my own self. Okay? Because, you know, nobody thinks I'm the age I am. What do y'all say my age is?
50?
No, I think 40.
Yeah.
Well, you made it sound like you were 80. You made it sound like you're 80.
I see you're my age. I see you're 40.
43.
Thank you. I'm 52.
What?
No,
You make it sound like you're 65. The way you talk.
I'm not too far from it.
I know.
Oh,
That's a long
At
way.
55,
That's a
I get my
long
free
way.
cup of
I don't
coffee.
believe it.
No,
So,
that was 65.
you know,
That's when she
I'm
said
learning.
oil like there.
I am the perfect example of how this little filter between the Wernicke and the Broca, okay, gone completely.
It's just by choice. It's not nothing like that.
You learn that there are some things that are worth the effort, some are not. And it's just basically, it's like,
For some people, like if they have Alzheimer's, you see that sometimes where they used to be very mild mannered, and that goes away because of
yes.
deterioration.
Well, it's deterioration, yeah. And it has, I think what they have learned is that for some of that, it's the neurotransmitters between the nerves too. The Alzheimer's, yeah, they've learned a lot with the Alzheimer's, and some of it they have learned actually comes down to the actual neurotransmitters in between the nerve cells. And it's pretty amazing what they're learning. So these are the areas that we're looking that are going to be dealing with our ability for language. So like I said, every species has it. It's just a matter of understanding that information. It is true that people are or can be more left-brained than right-brained. And this is termed cerebral lateralization, left versus right. Okay? The left, it's usually associated with the categorical hemisphere, meaning specialties, spoken and written language, sequential and analytical. Well, hello. I am like extremely left-brained. I can't figure out nothing with the art stuff, okay? I can't learn history, all right? No matter how much I try, I just can't. Doesn't make sense to me. Yes, I break everything down. I have to break it, I have to analyze it, and I have to put it back together. I am so left-brained, I don't even know if I've got a right hemisphere. The right hemisphere, usually representation, perceives information. Oh, well, that little sprig of flowers would look pretty over there. Okay, go put it over there and let me see. Seat of imagination and insight. I missed that train altogether. Okay, I don't have a lot of imagination. Okay, music and art. Y'all seen my art. Okay, you know I'm not artistic. Now, the one thing I do have, spatial abilities. Don't know how, but on an IQ test, I blew that one out of the chart. Comparison of sight, sound, smell, and taste. Some people can just look at something and say, well, you know, if we do that, we do this, and then it turns out perfect. I can't do that. There's no way. I just can't do it. So there are those differences, left versus right. We also know that the left versus right is usually correlated to handedness. Right-handed people, left hemisphere. I fit right into that category. Left-handed, usually the right. Some people are ambidextrous and are both. I had a professor one time that had that ability. Now, kid you not, when I was in college, we didn't get any of this stuff. We didn't have computers. We didn't have PowerPoints, okay? Everything was still on a chalkboard, okay? This professor literally wrote with one hand and erased with the other. And you had to keep up with him. Believe it or not, he was the best professor I ever had. Well, second best. Yes. The lateralization differs with age and sex. Children, now when it says lesions, this means that there's been brain damage. In children, if there is a lesion that may have happened to either the right or the left side of the brain, because of the fact that neurons are still firing, brain is still active, okay, their chances of recovering are better. They can actually recover fully from something that as an adult we'd be affected for the rest of our life. All right? Now, the other thing that children can do, children can be more ambidextrous. They can use both hands. What do we as the adults do to that?
Destroy it.
We destroy it. Because we're like, oh, no, honey, hold it this way. Or no, wait a minute, honey, do it this way. Leave them alone. Let them develop their own.
I'm horribly guilty of that with my 18-month-old. So when should I let her, when can I expect her to be more dominant with one hand or the other?
Probably about the time she goes to school.
Oh, okay. So a while.
Yeah. But, you know, encourage whichever way they're doing, because it really does affect development of other things. And you don't want to stop, you don't want to stop that, okay? Because you want to encourage them, especially at this age, to use every neuron they've got. I kid you not. This is the time you should be teaching her 2 to 3 languages. Yeah. Not when they are in school, and now is the time that their brain is developing so quickly that it's like a sponge. The more you can expose them to, oh man, the better off they are.
At what age is that?
He's at 18 months.
18 months.
Does that include ASL? Because I mean, that's technically a language,
Yes.
but it's a
Yes.
form of physical.
I actually have my best friend, her daughter, their son. They started the ASL when he was basically like 2 to 3 months old.
That's what we did too.
Yeah, and so now he talks in the sign language and everything.
She's not very proficient at it, but she
Well,
can
no.
carry a basic conversation that an 18-month-old needs to
Well,
have with an adult.
The brain is still developing, and so the more you can encourage that, the better off it'll be. Now, males tend to exhibit more lateralization than females, meaning if they're left-brained, they tend to definitely exhibit that. If they're right-brained, they're definitely exhibiting that. Whereas females, like I said, I'm mostly left-brained, but then again, I've got the spatial, okay? And therefore, if there's brain damage to the side that we are most dominant with, we tend to suffer a little more than the males do.
Do you think some of it is like what you were saying earlier, like use it or you lose it?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're exposed to stuff that's more right brain, you might be more right brain.
Yes.
Not necessarily like inherently.
It could be because your parents might have been right-brained, and therefore that's what developed for you. Yeah. Now, the last part of this chapter was dealing with our cranial nerves. The cranial nerves, there's 12 pair, and when we look at the cranial nerves, most of the cranial nerves fibers start in the nucleus of the brain stem, the primitive region of the brain, and their responses are going to go to glands and muscles. Most of the fibers, the receptors, are located in the head and the neck, and most of it goes to the brain stem. So this is going to our primitive portion, and the responses are going to be between ipsilateral receptors and their effectors, meaning one side. Okay, ipsa referring to that side. So therefore, if there is a lesion in the brain stem, and if it affected the branch of the left part of that nerve, the effect is most likely going to be on the left. Same thing for the right. They don't cross over. Okay? The one exception, the optic nerve. Because half, it's really funny, with the eyes sending information to this occipital lobe, half of the fibers, left stays left, right stays right, the other half cross over, so that left goes to right and right goes to left. It's a 50-50 chance. So with these cranial nerves, once again, just like we were looking with the muscles, we have the direct pathways, meaning it goes directly to the area of the body it needs to affect without making any pit stops. Let me see. Okay, take a break, be back at 9:30. I was hoping to get this done, but I don't think it's going to happen.